Give me a 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna call the regular meeting order at 7:03, and we'll have Deputy Mayor Vitale lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think that was our best pledge.
Yeah, very wonderful. Very yeah. Motion of the Board of Mayor Burgess approve the revised minutes of the regular meeting of July 7th, 2026. Each member received a copy for review. Second motion.
All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Abstention.
Okay, opposed? One abstention, motion carried.
Motion of the Board of Mayor Burgess approve the monthly reports of July. Each member received copies for review. Second.
All right, any questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I have a few things to bring up before we get started. Number one, the building, Penrose, they are now this week taking applications for rental. So they've notified the people who have inquired, but I think it would be a good idea for everyone to notify people as best you can. The applications are being taken in Ion Bank. There's an awful lot of interest, so anyone who's interested in the apartment should get involved early in the process. Number two, I want to make a brief comment on Rubber Avenue. So what happened is that the old pipe on Etna Street failed, and it didn't just fail, it exploded, fell apart, and caused the problems on Rubber Avenue. There are two projects. There's the Rubber Avenue project and the CIF Etna Street project. That project is the second phase of the Rubber Avenue project. We tried to get it in phase one, but that request was rejected. So it's a separate project. Not having that done in time is what caused the problem on Rubber Avenue. So we're addressing it now. We'll make some immediate repairs. We'll get Rubber Avenue up and running. We're looking at several options as to recovering funds. We have an insurance claim. We have a potential for LOPSIP, and we have other potential remedies. So we're looking at that now, and the engineers are working to devise the best plan. Also tonight, any questions on Rubber Avenue? All right. Tonight we are going to have a presentation from Rachel Meyer, from Richter and Seagan, and everyone should stay and pay attention. It's I'm going to say one of the beginning projects in our infrastructure bond, and it's exciting. So we want to get some input from the Burgesses on what we're thinking about, what Rachel was thinking about, and give her some guidance for planning purposes. Also, I want to make a few brief comments on the data center issue. There's been a lot of speculative comments and misleading statements on social media, and I'm getting a lot of emails, calls. So I thought what I should do tonight is lay the cards on the table, put the facts out there about what is really happening and going on, and we'll proceed accordingly. So here it is. Yes, the Borough of Naugatuck is interested in looking at the possibility of a data center in Naugatuck. If we do it, it would be in Industrial Park 3. It would be near the wastewater treatment plant. Industrial Park 3 is a former RCRA site, the former site of the United States Chemical Company, the largest chemical company in the world. If it happened, and there's a lot of ifs and a lot of moving parts, it would take up about 1/3 of the site. Now, the site is going to be an industrial park no matter what. We're proceeding with the infrastructure, and there are a lot of opportunities. We're moving ahead with our freight rail project on the lower tier. No matter what, that's going to happen. There will be other manufacturing and industrial uses. And if there is a data center, it would be on the upper tier. Now, the primary reason we would look at a data center is revenue. The revenue from a data center would be, I'm going to say from our standpoint, a minimum of $14 million per year. Now, let's put that in perspective. It's more than double Amazon. And when we look at our overall borough budget and we take out the money that we get from the state and everything else, it would be about, 13 to 15% of the, total amount we take from the taxpayers. So it's a very significant number, and that's why it's too big to ignore. So we are going to take a look at it. Now, we've got an awful lot of comments, and by the way, there's merit in many of the comments. And this is not our first effort to look at a data center. 2-3 years ago, we had some opportunities to look at it, and we rejected them for one specific reason. The reason being that they would take energy from the grid, and we didn't have enough capacity, and it would impact the rates. So 2.5, 3 years ago, we just said, no, we're not interested in a data center. Since that time, there have been a lot of changes in technology, and there are an awful lot of things going on. So in our discussions as a board, we've talked about it strategically to see what, if anything, we would do. And we have decided that we will take a look at whether or not there is a company interested in coming to our site to propose a data center. Right now, there is no specific proposal from an AI entity or a data center. We're looking at finding a way to see if there's one interested. But here's what I would say is the most important part, and I want to stress this. We're looking at it if and only if, let me say that again, if and only if certain conditions can be met. And the first condition is that under no circumstances will we allow a data center that will take electricity from the grid. So none means zero. If that is part of a proposal, it will be rejected automatically. We don't want any impact on rates. We don't want any impact on the availability of electrical service or other projects, and that's an absolute no. Number two, we will not allow any water to be taken from the Naugatuck River. Speaking for myself, and I'm sure for everyone on the board and almost everyone in Naugatuck, we're very happy with the improvement in water quality in the river. We have trout, salmon, eagles, bears. Just last week, we saw for the first time mink in Naugatuck. So mink are attracted to fish. So it's exciting. The river's doing great. We're working on taking down the Kinneytown Dam. We're all excited about the river, and no data center will be considered if they propose taking one drop of water out of the river. Thirdly, to be even in the ballgame and considered, there would have to be satisfactory measures to reduce or eliminate noise or other environmental factors. Now, in addition to that, those are three absolute conditions. We would accept no less than $14 million per year. So we don't know if there's an entity that's willing to pay that much. But if they're willing to comply with all of our conditions and pay that sum, we would consider taking a look at it. Secondly, there will be no tax incentives. So in Amazon, they're paying a lot, but they only have to pay 20% for 5 years. In a data center proposal, there will be no tax incentives. Also, there's been some misinformation about using borough funds for the project. No borough funds from TIF or otherwise will be used in this proposal, and borough money will not be spent on due diligence. So where we are is that if these criteria can be met, and if there's a company willing to come in, we will take a look at it and consider whether or not it makes sense. Now, if it did happen, knowing that they can't use electricity from the grid, there has to be an alternate way to create energy. That would most likely be gas from the Algonquin gas pipeline, which would have to be piped to the site, and gas would be created with gas turbines. Now, gas turbines create air emissions. That is an environmental issue. That's where due diligence comes in. And if we looked at it, we would do our due diligence. It will be regulated by DEEP and EPA, and there are air emission standards that have to be met. So in general, what we're saying is that if all of these conditions can be met, and if someone is willing to come on those terms, we'll take a look at it. There will be public hearings, it will have to go to zoning. There will be many opportunities for people to speak. It will be evaluated by DEEP, EPA, by our own consultants, and we're not going to do it unless it makes sense. Now, with that background, we invite comments tonight at public hearing or otherwise, and that's just where we are, I'm going to say, as a town, as a group, and those rules and conditions are ironclad. So with that background, I'm going to stop the mayor's comments, and we will go straight to public comment. We'll take public comments on a data center or any other topic. So I'm going to open the meeting up for public comment. So is there anyone in the room or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? If you're on Zoom, you can raise your hand, go in the chat box. Jim Kay, our IT director, will allow you to speak. So is there anyone that would like to make a public comment? All right, I'll take second call for public comment. Last call for public comment. All right, let's go to item 7. So Rachel Meyer is here from Richter and Season. Richter and Season is the landscape architectural firm that handle downtown Naugatuck for us. And we're talking now about Salem Park, Lewis Park, all of the land between Hillside School going all the way past Salem School, the basketball court, all the way up to where that stone building, is. So Rachel, we've given you some initial input, and let's remember, for those of you who don't know, a lot of this land was, designed by the foremost architect in the country in landscape architecture, Frederick Olmsted. The, land was, not properly taken care of for over 100 years. And, we started bringing it back, and now we intend to bring it completely back and make it better than ever, and make Mr. Olmsted and Mr. Whittemore proud. And, Rachel is the, person to lead us. So Rachel, tell us what you do.
Is it okay if I project from here?
Sure.
Great. For the official record, good evening, everyone. My name is Rachel Meyer Shamali now. I am a landscape architect and project manager with Richter and Segan, landscape architects and urban planners from Avon, Connecticut. Just a brief bit of background. Mayor has already touched on some of it. Richter and Segan's been working with Naugatuck for a little over 4 years now on a lot of the downtown streetscape improvements. I hope you're all very well familiar with by now. We're excited to continue the opportunity to explore new projects in town and get to help bring some historic vision to life. So for those who cannot see the screen, as Mayor has alluded to, this is a roughly 12.8 acre group of parcels that the borough owns, bounded by Meadow Street, Route 63, Hillside Avenue and the school campus, and Fairview Avenue to the west. So if you're familiar, as you're driving down Meadow Street, you'll see a large expanse of steep woodland to your left. It continues up to the Fairview Avenue residences. Again, some really interesting history that I'll just expand on a little bit with the projects and the sites. Historically known as Lewis Park. I'm sure it's taken some other names informally throughout the history of the borough as well, including Salem School and the Hillside School. Frederick Law Olmsted is the father of landscape architecture, for near and dear to what I do for work as a Connecticut native. Has had a hand in the history of the design of this site, as well as very prominent architecture from McKim, Mead, and White, specifically at the Hillside School. So how we got from a few months ago to today, back in April, I walked or kind of drove around the site with Mayor Hess. He gave me a great overview of the history of the site, where we're looking to go in the future. And I've walked the site a number of times myself because I've done work downtown. So seen it in a few different seasons, in a few different conditions, and are looking to help create a bit of a concept vision for where to go from here. So what we'd like to present, and what you can see on the screen for those that cannot see on the screen, is a 3-phase plan. So again, in very early stages, the phases that we've kind of outlined on the plan might be a little different from what I'm going to explain tonight, but all of the key aspects are there. So phase 1 is what you can see in kind of a green hatch. Again, this is focusing on the woodland, the existing woodland. I'll call it in progress and ongoing. The borough has already started some selective clearing efforts in this hillside to start to manage dead, dying, dangerous, invasive, unsightly trees and vegetation. Now, this is not by any means a clear-cutting exercise. It's very selective in making sure that we can enhance views from Fairview Avenue down to the wonderful work happening downtown, as well as just starting to, again, clean up a site that has gone unmanaged for a very long time. None of the stumps of any mature trees are planned to be taken out. We want to make sure that there's also safety included with not destabilizing that hillside. But where Richter and Segan starts to come in is looking at potential plantings and proposed improvements to the slope stabilization. So it's not just about the function, but we also want to make sure that we're adding visual interest to what we're cleaning up. So this is starting to look at native species, a plan for shrubs, ground covers, wildflowers and grass meadows, kind of a collection and not just a monoculture of any one thing to start to really enhance the visual interest. Multi-season interest is really critical here as well, and also not block the views that we're trying to open up for Fairview Avenue. Part of using native species means that it'll start to be low maintenance over time. Obviously, something like this is time intensive to establish it the right way. But with that, you also see benefits to, again, slope stabilization, erosion control, and things of that nature. So it's not just functioning better, but it's also looking better as well. So all of the work that's started already. Closest to Hillside Avenue is proposed to continue as you get down Meadow Street closer to Rubber Avenue. So part of where we start to transition into what I'll call phase 1B is at the Hillside School. So you can see kind of in the top corner of the screen, there's a little bit of overlap where we're looking conceptually at a bigger picture. There's also, I'm sure as most of you know, the Hillside Avenue reconstruction project happening kind of as an adjacent tangent through the primarily lots of funding. So any information that we can gather, we are, Richter and Segan is also a part of that project team with Kleinfelder to look at the drainage and roadway and pedestrian improvements. We've already walked the site and started to understand, okay, there are some geological questions that we want to make sure we're aware of. The start to expose some of that ledge and hillside. It's all things that, you know, as professionals that we're keeping in mind for the safety and longevity of any improvements that we're proposing there. So another kind of overlap feature that we'll call it up in the Hillside Avenue and Hillside School area is what's historically labeled as a bandstand on the Lewis Park plans from Frederick Law Olmsted. Whether or not we know exactly how it was historically used, the exciting part of this process is that we get to create a new vision for what it can be. So whether that's taking some of the historic brick pavers from Hillside Avenue and giving them a platform to shine on, if it's art, if it's history, it's a really unique feature, kind of a circular remnant of stone up near the school that we can highlight as, you know, an opportunity for people to get to know more about the history of Naugatuck. So what we'll call phase 2 steps back a little bit from the physical nature of planting and slope establishment and looks at the design, the overall concept master plan for the area that you see outlined on the screen. So this includes everything I just discussed in phase 1, incorporating anything we learn about Hillside Avenue and the school improvements up there, but also starting to look at how do we connect Hillside School and the sloping site down to Salem schools. Again, for those that have been in the area, they're at very different elevations. There is some existing circulation currently, starting to understand how do we take two very distinct areas on a very large site and create kind of a cohesive pedestrian experience, enhance the amenities that we're able to provide, especially for residents up on Fairview Avenue and beyond, that they're welcomed down into the downtown area as well. So part of that is the area that you see in blue. So I think some of you have heard about ideas of an amphitheater. We'll take a step back and say in phase 2, we want to incorporate a space for some sort of formal and informal seating that takes advantage of the topography on the site. Understanding that there is a really key opportunity where currently there is a flat area for basketball courts. There was playground equipment that goes over a sidewalk up an existing kind of sloped lawn. So there are ways that we can take advantage of the existing topography, the existing features, and add new amenities for the town. So once we get through kind of the concept master plan, and I hope at that point we can have another conversation, taking the input that we hear from you all tonight to further the ideas and add some additional creative vision. Then we'll look at phase 3, which specifically hones in on that amphitheater. For lack of a better term, you can also look at tiered seating. So again, taking advantage of the hillside, the slopes that we have to create kind of carved tiered seating opportunities in the hillside. Down on the flat part, maybe we have some sort of platform for entertainment, passive recreation, art, music, events that as I'm driving in, I already see are very well loved in town, and finding another way to take programming that already happens in the town green and other sites and bring it across the street and expand the opportunities that you have to offer. So I think that's kind of a high level overview of how we've gotten to where we are today. I think it's really important. Something that I've learned about working with Naugatuck for all these years is there is a lot of history to respect, and there's also so much passion about taking that history and moving it forward as well. So finding a way to respect all of the infrastructure, the history, the established woodland that's there, and turn it into a really special amenity for the borough is a project that we're really excited to keep working on. So Unless Mayor has any additional comments.
Well, just that I want the Burgesses tonight and in the future to feel free to comment, even starting tonight, on our vision, of what it should be. So if you look at where we started, all at Olmsted Overlook, extending that, wildflowers, blueberry bush covers, I don't know, that's up to Rachel, but to make it look really, really nice and national, and ultimately wind up with a very exciting, we'll call it amphitheater, I don't know if that's the right term, but some type of public area that would be really cool, because as we grow and get more vibrant, we're gonna have the Tuttle building, which will also be redone and eventually bring back the big porch, and it will be a great place for events. The green across the street will have a lot of opportunity for a lot of different cultural events. And in my mind, the park we're now talking about will really be, I'm gonna say, the most spectacular part of downtown. Everyone's excited about downtown, but I think when you look up at that hill and when it's done, it's gonna be spectacular. And I think that's what Mr. Whittemore saw, and I think that's what Frederick Olmsted saw. And I wish we could go back and look at it, 125 years ago, but we can't. But Rachel is gonna surpass Frederick Olmsted.
No pressure.
Well, anyone have any thoughts about how we should approach this?
I think you're on the right track.
Full speed ahead. We should do a full speed ahead.
The plan is pretty solid and it really takes every piece of it and encompasses even wants it, which is good.
And just as an aside, a group from the state park went there, spent 3 or 4 days cleaning that whole hill.
Nice.
And I'm on bags and bags and bags of stuff. There's a group that gathers every day at that lookout. And they seem to sit there and throw beer cans and cigarettes and they clean that whole thing up, which is very nice.
What about the people that are throwing the beer cans and cigarettes?
Good question.
Rock, we should.
The amphitheater idea is like I'm envisioning that really, like hanging out there. I love it.
Yeah, and I think it's, amphitheater sounds like a very large, rigid covered structure, but I think there's so many creative options to, like you said, it's modern, but it's naturalized into the existing infrastructure, the topography. You've got great mature trees for shade, and like I said, I think there's ways to keep that hillside view open into the town green, and back as well. We want, not just looking down here, but looking up, like Mayor has said, and I think there's the opportunity that we have to start looking at how to do that in different ways is really exciting.
I've seen them at campgrounds before, and basically we just like slate with rocks, tier.
Yeah.
In fact, they saw Hall and Oaks example.
There you go. Yes.
And it was very simple, built into the area, with all natural stuff.
Sure, it almost looks like it's been there for, for decades itself, so.
I'm wondering if there's an opportunity for, at the base of the seating, or however that's gonna look, for like a piece of art or like a sculpture, I don't know, something, obviously not right in the center, but some kind of focal point, because you're obviously looking at the view downtown, but could be a good space or something like that.
Yeah, and I think too, one other thing that I mentioned, I know America said it's not a secret, but at some point in the future when we start to look at the potential conversion of Salem School and Hillside School to municipal facilities, I think it further establishes how important they'll be to the public fabric of the downtown too. So, a platform where there's, significant circulation and it's not in the way of other views, to have a rotating space for art and sculpture, especially seeing all the work downtown with murals and supporting young artists and things like that too. I think will certainly include something along those lines.
It's been a gathering place, right? Like the basketball courts, the playground. So if there's a way to not necessarily like. I love that there was a playground close to downtown, right? But there's a way to have some other form of entertainment, so to speak. Whether it's a piece of art, you know what I mean? But just people are gonna be gathering there, so a way to engage people beyond just the seat. If it is a space, where people can gather.
I do have a question. The area in question, we have a middle school, intermediate school is gonna be taken offline in the next few years. We have a elementary school that's already taken offline and it's gonna eventually be a town hall. So any design you put in, we have to really kind of figure in how does it fit in the vision we want to see happen at Hillside. You already know we want the Salem to be a town hall, but what is the vision for Hillside? Does this fit in what that be? It's hard. We're planning now, and it's a different place. Right now.
Sure, absolutely. And I think, like I said, we are aware of that. That is part of the initial discussion that we had of, are there going to be additional parking needs at either of these locations, less parking needs? How do you start to factor in the transformation from a school to a municipal facility without knowing exactly what that programming is going to be? But, from our experience, program elements that we've included with other municipal facilities over time, how do we start to, know potential locations in the master plan so that what we are doing doesn't need to be undone and redone in the future, because that would, kind of defeat the purpose of getting everyone's input, looking at the long-term plan and creating
The plan will be key because we're talking about form and function. We really need to know the function that the form has to match.
Absolutely.
And if we have form without function, how's that going to fit in? Would that be restricting what we can do with that area? Not that I don't want to see it happen, but as we plan things, like an amphitheater is wonderful. Who's going to use it? What groups are actually going to go there? Will it be properly energized with electricity and the supportive stuff you need to have there to make something like that happen? Is it just going to be a sitting area? What is its role and how does that fit into the town hall? Because that really looks like it's more going to be geared towards connectivity to the new town hall area. And would it be in the layer be a problem when any work has to be done and we do convert it? Just mistaken that so many things going on.
Yeah, right. It's as much as it's a blank slate in terms of concept planning, there's also a lot of infrastructure and future planning to work around, and you don't want to design for flexibility by just leaving things open.
Yeah.
Right. So, finding creative ways to incorporate the function and the programming that could be happening that we're aware of, and like you said, understanding who's actually going to start using these spaces is really important as well.
All right, Rachel, we'll invite you back when you get a little further along.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I had some, I don't know if you want printouts of this
Sure.
behind,
Sure.
but.
I'm so really think that ours was something they really call it. Big red crops, those things.
That means they're living right here and.
Yeah, so kind of.
Fried and all that.
Feels like we must go.
That's what those are about. Red rooms, it's called coloring, or a space like that, you're in.
I'm gonna look at.
All right. We're gonna go now to item 8, downtown enhancements. We're gonna start with trusts with local creative, Paul Bunko. And just to bring everyone up to speed, we've already agreed upon 3 trucks. One's been installed, 2 are forthcoming. And we talked about 3 more. We gave Paul 3 ideas to start working on. And I'm assuming he's gonna come forward and show us where he is in his thought process and take comments from us as to where he should go next. So Paul, I don't know how you wanna proceed, yeah, you wanna go share your screen or how you wanna do this?
Yeah, sharing speech.
So you want to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll just, I can put it on the-
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you again for having me come and just keep this project moving forward. I have some updates in here based on what we've done already with the initial installation, some of the future plans, and then some pieces and some additional concepts that I think could be a really fun way to kind of keep this project going. So, as you may have seen, right in front of the old train station, the first crest has been placed. I'm super happy with how it came out. Rocco did an amazing job with his team, actually just bringing this to life. And I know, getting that placement figured out, I worked out perfectly. What you can't see is directly behind this is the crosswalk over street. So as you're actually going across here, you can look up and see the train station and directly have the artwork facing you. So it really does become an installation of a piece of the environment. So really cool to see this first one in practice. Overall reception has been awesome, so I think we're moving in the right direction as far as what the actual finished product looks like. I did create some posts on social media just to highlight both what has already been done, but also what's to come with the one for the standard white buildings, and then also the Tuttle House. And I think overall, it seems like people are pretty enthusiastic about pieces of art that are just contributing to the overall story of the borough. And as we're moving into so many different advancements, doing it in a way that still is holding on to the history that is really everywhere that you look at Naugatuck. And then these, of course, the previous ones that we had in the works that will be installed soon are the Tuttle House graphic, and then also the graphics for standard white buildings. So what I was thinking for the three new concepts based on the conversation that we had during the last Board Burgess meeting, I know the US Rubber Company was a big one. That's definitely probably one of the biggest pieces of Naugatuck's history that we're known for. So I did create a very rough generated mock-up of kind of the idea. Obviously, it's not print ready, it's not a drawing, but just kind of to showcase what the concept is overall. I have a couple of options for something that is welcoming people to Naugatuck, which I'll show you generations for as well. And then the third one I know is a little bit more conversational. We want to create something that really represents, the pride of Naugatuck, the strength of Naugatuck, the resilience of the town, both looking backwards and looking forward. So I think that that's kind of more of an open-ended concept that will require some conversation and some input, but I think that would really create something special with that type of message. So the first concept, this is the one that's for the US Rubber Company. Of course, following the same format, keeping things consistent from a branding standpoint is really important. Again, there's a ton of things about this artwork because it is generated that doesn't make sense from a practicality standpoint. So I will have to draw this by hand and make it match the other ones. But in general, it carries the aesthetic. And what I wanted to do with this one is incorporate a couple of things about the Rubber Company. That black rim that was used on all of the other seals has actually been modified slightly to look like a tire. Of course, just related to the fact that that was a big product that the Rubber Company created. And then we have one of the Naga monsters pointing to the old rubber, which I think is just a cool way to tie in another piece of history that when I was growing up in Naga, I always thought that those little characters were really cool. And I think if I think back of when the train station was a museum, my favorite thing that I ever saw there was a Naga, and I know they still have them at the Historical Society. They're super cool, and they're unique, and it just adds a lightness to it, which I think is interesting. An interesting way to show more than just like the building or just just the structure. So that was my thoughts for the rubber.
Well, it's also, that's gonna be on parcel B where our new road that goes directly into the train station is.
Can I-
Go ahead.
I am not familiar with what the Naga is.
Oh.
That is.
I go to Charlie. It's going to try.
think that would be my question. Is
So dogs like when dogs run wild, we hunt them. Turn them. It's something that's used to cover seats. It's a synthetic
Yeah.
Naga hack.
So
And it was done to replace using them. Primarily as parts of the water, sir. I think she might have funded that. And the Naga is, we'll say that.
well, just a little monster that was.
Yes, it's a mascot.
Yeah.
You can actually still buy one from the store now.
Okay.
Yeah, they got them there.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
Paul was gonna be
Thank you.
important is eventually with these is to get some kind of QR code, we talked about that.
Yes.
That would explain, because I have so many people that when we even walk in, like Tuesday morning, seniors. Need to explain exactly what it is, like here Kate was asking, so.
Right.
So I think that's gonna be, important to have like a QR code or have one of those, we talked about that, having the high school make.
Yeah, wasn't the plan to do a kiosk or something to kind of explain what they are? So it got towards
I
something.
think the juxtaposition, it's like something more modern looking versus like an older looking building that just caught me off guard.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah.
I'm not from Naugatuck, so the lack of understanding, so.
Now, is that picture, it looks like it would have been a view from Maple Street.
Yes.
Probably from where your store used to be. That view, but we're gonna put it on Old Firehouse, is that the plan?
No, it's gonna go
Right.
on the new road leading to the train station.
Yeah,
Right
right.
in the middle road there.
Right.
When I look at that side, I remember the water tower, I remember seeing the building structure that went along that end, but
So the idea, what I think Charlie's saying is, the building, there was a building exactly where the crest was gonna go.
Right.
And maybe that building should be the one, I don't know.
Maybe it says US Rubber Company and then it says US Rubber Company on the building, so maybe it just says US Rubber Company once. You know what I mean? And then it
100%.
highlights more of the building or something, I would say.
was that based on a photo
It might
that, did
be
they actually have US Rubber Company painted inside the building?
That's
It
just
is.
AI doing that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's like.
It was just a brick building.
Yeah.
I think it's just to say it twice is a lot, I think it's just to say it once. And then maybe highlight more of a feature of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but they put another mark. Remember what the is it 25?
It definitely some context for the
Yeah.
back.
That's the one that they, you guys just said, I'm gonna take it, my first memory of that.
It's a quirky thing, but I think that's why it's so memorable when I was younger, is just because it was such a big marketing push for the rubber company. And it looks like, I mean, it looks like a Tim Burton, like somebody see it like it looks or something, so I think that intrigue of somebody seeing, like, you know, if they don't know, like, what the heck is that thing? It could be a good way to get people more engaged with it too. But yeah, definitely.
Remember, and this, the thought, we did get input from an artist at our last meeting who wanted you to consider a booth somewhere, a rubber booth. Or snow.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, something along those lines, so, you know, I think that we can continue to massage this for a while,
Yeah,
but there are a lot of possibilities.
definitely, yeah, rough concept, but I do remember that coming up as well, which I think could be valuable. Maybe that's something that could sort of be implemented somehow in place of that extra verbiage I created or something there, you know? Yeah, we can work with that for sure.
Hang on a second. Cam, go ahead.
You're on.
Unmute.
Now I'm back. How about putting a pair of those classic Uniroyal boots on Naga?
That
That's
would
what
do
we
it.
were just saying.
That would do it, yeah,
We were
definitely,
saying that.
definitely, yeah. Honestly, yeah, that's a really good idea, move them up a little bit.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, or the pro pens or something.
It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Awesome. Any other thoughts on this one before I move on to the welcome to option? No, cool, that's cool. So these are a couple of options, again, just generated, so obviously the level of detail and a lot of the things going on here are not with speed. But yeah, I wanted to give kind of one option that leans towards our rich sport history. One of the comments that I saw come up recently was the fact that we had that, I believe it was 64 game streak. That was really big. Yeah, so I think that was a really cool suggestion, in incorporating that potentially, you know, as a Greyhound pride element for the Welcome to Naugatuck could be cool to tell that story. And then option two would be something that is more neutral, kind of more speaking to the river, having a nice serif end with the river actually flowing through it, since it is sort of like the first thing you could see when you're driving on the highway into Normanton. I think either of these would be really cool. Realistically, I think both of them could even potentially go in different places, but
So let's just say we're talking about Church Street now, somewhere on Church Street. So I don't know how that changes things, but it's part of the equation.
right.
It makes a big difference, because you
Oh,
look at.
hold on, excuse me.
Sorry.
This one, I'm wrong. This one is right here, coming up the hill.
Say, well.
Right here.
Yeah.
Welcome to Morgan.
Yeah.
Right, Paul?
Yeah.
No.
So the first thing you see is the Whitmore Bridge.
Well, no, well, yeah, you see that, but the crest will be right
Yeah.
there as you approach the greens.
That's it.
The first one looks like we've already done that. That's at the high school right now. We have a statue, with the Greyhound dog. We have the commemoration of the baseball street lead. I think that's already been done at the appropriate place that we done, which is our athletic fields. I think for welcome to not only a town, a community, the second one does work better.
Yeah. Sort of classy.
There is an incredible amount of just serenity in that image that is really, I love it. Absolutely love that second image.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think that concept could work
All right,
really
hold
well.
on. I'm gonna recognize Tracy from the audience.
Hi, everyone. I love option two. My question is, can we incorporate the Greyhound like in the end over into option two?
Oh, yeah.
So like that.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, so basically use that version of the end.
Correct.
But it grows-
Like, I like the black, I like the outline of the red and white, but if we can do the outline of the Greyhound and incorporate it.
Yeah.
That will kind of combine the nostalgic of the Greyhound, our sports, but the serenity here in the community.
I like that. That's a really good idea. Definitely. Yeah, and that would definitely make it more on brand with obviously some other stuff. If you drive, see the sign with the athletic heads on the signage and stuff over there too. So yeah, that'd be a really cool way to tie that to something like that.
Sounds great. If you need the Greyhound, I have them.
Yeah.
The image.
Oh, yeah, that would be super helpful.
Not a real one.
I mean, the real might be cool too.
I know someone that has real.
I've got the old one and the other one.
Awesome. So it sounds like number two is probably a better.
Put rubber boots on.
Awesome. And then so the sixth crest, what would be the sixth crest? For this, obviously, I don't have an image in mind yet because this is something that is more open for discussion. So what I did is I came up with just a couple of themes to kind of get us all thinking. So part of the value would be something that is kind of focusing more on the industrial roots and determination of the generations who built it, legacy and strength next.
Okay.
Right.
This
Legacy
one requires a lot of thought, so
Yes.
the ideas.
Yeah. Legacy and strengths, focusing on the borough's accomplishments and the strength of its people. Pride and perseverance, Naugatuck's enduring spirit and continued reinvention, which I think is very forward thinking. And then strong past, promising future, right? Finding a way to take our most iconic history, blending it with the most iconic visions that we have in the future. This is more just food for thought stuff, but hopefully it kind of helps the group get thinking about what might be a plan.
Hard part of the Church Street history, nobody now would know what the Salem Theater is, what Andropes is, when the stores even before that are. So if you put that in something now, nobody would know what it is. That's the hard part. How do you put something that needs a church street?
Did you see the Christmas ornament someone posted on Facebook on that? It has like the ruby slippers on it, the yellow brick road, hillside. Interesting. I guess that was a Christmas ornament 100 years ago. And it has the hound in it.
Oh, well, why don't you show Paul?
Is it it's in the museum shop?
I don't know where it is. Somebody just posted that on Facebook and I just pirated it and took a picture. You could keep that one.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at this. And so I know it's funny, we're actually kind of looking into some of this stuff now. I know that the person who basically designed all the costumes for the Wizard of Oz is from Naugatuck, and that's why that's a big piece of the history. So that could be something interesting, especially because of the theater.
And very specifically, the slippers have become sort of that, the touch point for that.
Right.
For that factor.
Mhm.
Have you ever walked through the historical society building?
Yeah. Yeah.
The 55 flood mark. We'll talk about legacies. We want to talk about strength and perseverance. Some representation of that column with 55 flood mark.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like we think about.
I have a picture of my store being totally
Oh
destroyed.
gosh, yeah. Well, that's a bit much. A little traumatic.
Well, she can at least point out the flood line.
There's a great picture of my father-in-law with Bob Sutherland. We told him, you're not covered with insurance.
That's the one. But yeah, seriously. So
Yes, I have all those pictures.
if we could all take it in the direction that's kind of similar to what we did for the Stanford White buildings, where we have kind of a collage of 4 different things, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be one unified thing. I think if we could take different pieces of Naugatuck's history, or 2 pieces of the history, 2 pieces of the present, and then that's kind of our entire image. That could be a way to do it too.
Yeah, but put something that's not there anymore, it'll get people to talk. What's that?
Yeah,
It'll start a conversation.
that's true. Sure, that's true. So yeah, and then the last thing that I wanted to show is just kind of just an overview of what we're really developing as a visual language for the town, realistically. So obviously the options or the pieces on top are the ones that have been approved and are in the works, and the ones at the bottom are rough ideas. But I think it's really cool to just kind of see things from a bird's eye view and see that we're developing a voice for how we communicate history and how we communicate these different events and things. And that's why I think that like going forward with some new stories to tell, right? Both on the past and the future, just adding to this overall visual element that I think is going to be really exciting. So yeah, thank you again, everybody, for listening. Now I just want to move on to any questions or suggestions or thoughts on it.
Well, also, when you're doing Church Street, even something that shows Naugatuck old, I mean, there's plenty of pictures, and then everything that's been done in the house, just side by side.
Yeah, it could literally, that's a good idea too. Just be like kind of right down the middle, like showing the past and present. That's cool for future. Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Would it cost a lot more to make them larger?
I don't know the specifics. I know it would, just because of how they are manufactured. It would of course cost more. But I could talk to Rocco and see what that would be. Do you have like a percentage larger you'd like to see that?
Well, so we talked about 6 feet, I was like, oh, that's a good size. And I went to go look for it, and I was like, oh, in my car. So I'm not walking. I think, like you say, if you walk across the street, you get a better look. Well, then I'm trying to look at it, but I have cars waiting behind.
Gotcha.
So I had to go around, and then there were cars coming that way. So I was just thinking if it was a little bit larger, it might be.
Getting out and laying down to measure the work.
No.
Driving around it.
But I was just wondering, larger might be more visible.
Yeah.
For people in my car, and I understand if you're just walking by and you're gonna look at a kiosk, so you're not
But
necessarily.
maybe the lot of ideas, especially the lot of the. Yeah.
Currently, we're looking at 6 feet diameter.
Okay, so if you went
I
to
believe
8,
that's what the final was.
that's but it's 6 feet. If you went to 8, that's substantially larger. Square footage.
Yeah.
Whole road.
Yeah. Have we already crossed that bridge? If we put one in place, we need different sizes now. I think if we decide on 6, there is a 6-foot one in.
Because we thought 4 was way too small.
Yeah, we've already crossed that bridge. I think we should just stay same thing.
Nice thought, though.
Yeah. The Walsh one is one I can see maybe being bigger because it's kind of its own thing.
Coming up, and
Maybe, but if you guys want, I could talk to Rocco and just get like an estimate of what that might be for like one bigger one or something like that.
Volume discount.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's a great thought too. Any other thoughts or questions?
Thanks, I like it.
You all? Yeah, thank you. So I'll for next month's meeting, I'll have at least one of these actually drawn, not a generated version. I think I'll start with the N one, the Greyhound, and with the river flowing through it as a starting point. And then we can take a look at that and hopefully discuss it. So, 6th, which I think will be a lot of fun. But yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, we have a lot to do tonight, so we don't have to talk about anything else under enhancements unless someone wants to. Just, Jeremy, where are we on the planters?
We won't be able to get any painted just because of the weather. It's only a rainy day, so the hope is to, within the next month, get it done.
Okay, and what about the, question raised on the gray ones? Did we resolve that?
I wanted to see some charcoal gray down.
So
I'm still on black, just to let you know.
But you're gonna do some down by Water Street?
That was the plan, yeah.
Okay.
We haven't been busy.
No.
All right.
Yeah, rain days.
Anyone have any questions on any other aspect of item 8?
I do. As far as the amenities, I guess, as far as like things working from what we've done. Electrical outlets. Light posts. They're not always all working, the light posts. You go downtown and I know the electrical outlets, at least with the Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
Plugging in, and I'm worried about also some of the festivals like Harvest Moon. We're gonna be working plugs around the green. So we can know how to set up our events. I'm just at loss. Why isn't everything working?
Found them not working.
Sunday morning, can they plug in the band?
We got
You had to run a cable from the gazebo last year.
we got a key to the power box. So to my knowledge, the I don't know, the outlets on like that circle thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we're working. The like platform that like the Christmas thing was on in the bench, not the tree on the like behind the electronic sign.
Yeah, that wasn't working.
No, we use the power box. We got a key from Parks and Rec and used the power box and just ran an extension cord. We don't require power for the farmers. It would be nice if, but those outlets on the little circle platform have not been working.
Okay, they might.
I think they tried to tap into the ones near the memorial, the war
Yes.
monument, and that plug also didn't. work.
Yeah,
Well, we have.
I'm just concerned about electricity, how to in general, working everywhere it's supposed to work and being accessible when it's needed, as opposed to like, you have a festival starting, oh, we're setting up Saturday morning. You guys don't wanna get phone calls on the weekend.
First time we've heard that there's been a problem, so.
We had the music fest coming
Use the
this weekend, so
power.
we have to make sure that.
Yeah,
the power-
that's all wasn't working.
I mean, you may not want them to be on all the time, so I do get that, because if it's, it is, okay. But the ones on where the circus.
Yeah, well, that does-
Christmas.
That doesn't surprise me, the rain, I expected, but it's kind of. Those.
Oh, like, yeah.
And there, as.
Yeah.
Charles, they should. Look, they're sealed enough.
Okay.
They're quenchable.
I do echo Charlie's comment that it has been tricky to run some extension cords, we've just been kind of dealing. The power box is just
And it seems like some of the light posts downtown. The side where most of the shops, the side where the parking lot is.
Oh, the parking lot.
Parking lot, it's not completed.
That's
Different circuit.
still.
So we had to separately do that through, not the project. We had Earthworks run the conduit, the contractor ran the wires. They're currently still doing it.
That's not right, getting.
We did get the strung lights. There were some complaints about the strung lights and you guys contacted the contractor and that's all set. The strung lights, I was talking to Ray from Brady's for a while, his weren't on for quite a while. So I worked with them, those are good now, yeah.
We should bring our dinner.
But if you see lights that aren't working, take a picture that, you know.
We have to stay on.
Let me
We have to
attack,
stay on.
because we're in a warranty period, so we gotta make sure that this is working. You know, this one right in this corner wasn't working last night.
Yeah.
So that we're gonna report to the electrician, so if there's issues, things don't work, let us know.
On your cell phone.
We good?
All right, let's go to Kyle Kelly. Kyle, your report. Brief report.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I didn't see it on the agenda, so I'll just highlight a couple of things really.
They're always.
Has been very busy. This month, almost 450 calls. We just started transitioning to hiring for the first time, probably 20 plus years, real full-time employees, with obviously the support of the borough to be able to do that. Something that Naugatuck has never been able to offer a true, full, good benefits package. So we had a lot of people interested within our organization, in without. When people heard that we were starting to hire some full timers, my phone started to ring pretty quick, and it continues to do so. And I'll leave it at that for the most part. We did have a minor accident. It was actually a decent sized accident. One of our flag guards totaled in Waterbury going to an emergency while they were leaving the hospital. Fortunately, everybody was okay. The other driver was at fault and got cited. But other than that, there's normal report in there. If there's any questions, please.
All right, questions? All right, thank you, Kyle. Senior center, anything we should bring up tonight?
I don't think so. Everything's going actually a lot better at the senior center. There's a lot more people that have joined, so the membership is up considerably. Karen has done a great job at doing some health activities and getting sponsorships, so that the people taking part in Tai Chi or exercise or whatever they don't have to pay. The big thing is, they were concerned about volunteers at the senior center and making sure that the volunteers have a code of conduct,
That's for your oversight board.
Yeah.
Control, right?
Yeah, so that's been all set. There's a volunteer application and they will oversee that, so that's been going pretty well.
Root beer floats Thursday. Root beer floats Thursday.
Yeah, there's a lot of activities, a lot more, also bus trips that are going, so she's taking advantage of the senior bus.
Any comments from our friends from the center here in attendance?
I had a question to ask you. Do you have an idea when you're gonna end up doing the center?
Well, as soon as they give us the money, so.
Okay.
We're getting there on that.
I know. I'm not complaining.
We're picking a designer now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not complaining.
I know.
Yeah.
Compared to what the senior was, believe it is 100% better.
Yeah, Kara's doing a phenomenal job and I've seen, I guess, more interest in the center since all these activities are, coming up and everybody is really excited about all these new changes from what I can see.
Very good, thank you.
And we are getting more people.
Yeah.
I know that Gracious Livings LLC, the new home care company, it has donated briefs and sanitary pads, and will be donating like cups and things that the seniors need. And maybe we can talk about from their consultant, like a volunteering stream for their employees.
Well, let's go to item 10.
Motion of the Board of Mayor Burgess to adopt ordinance number 140, hereby creating a new article 567, regulations of smoke shops and related items, sections 12-120, 12-134, and chapter 12 of the Code of Ordinances of the Borough of Naugatuck, Connecticut, which reads as follows as if read.
Second.
All right, do we have any discussion?
Are there any adjustments that need to be made?
Yes, there are
Just
three.
have that one adjustment.
There are three. Section 12-125, I consulted with the borough clerk, she's gonna make that clerical adjustment. Section 12-126, another language adjustment, and then in 12-130, you're gonna add to Spanish, you're gonna add Portuguese as well to 12-130. Those are the three adjustments that I have pursuant to comments by Burgess Vice President.
All right, immediately you're gonna make those changes. All right, so with those adjustments, included in the motion will proceed to a roll call vote. And, I guess we'll go first to Burgess, Caitlin, Kimball,
Yes.
Jose,
Yes.
Dorothy.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yes.
Rocky.
Yes.
And yes. Julie.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Charlie.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. All right.
Congratulations.
All right, so I don't want to run on the old.
What page is it? 11. Oh, okay. This is that. Just see.
All right, I will, item 11, I reappoint Peter Moleshny, 76 East Waterbury Road, Nautica, as a member of the Building Authority Board of Appeals, term to expire 8/1/31. Well,
Motion to the Board of Maine Purchase waive for bid to the following vendors to provide goods and or services for fiscal year 2026-27, and authorize Mayor Hess to execute all contracts or related documents as recommended by Controller Aline Pranacchia at the Fred.
Second motion.
all right,
They were just admitted from last month's, and there's a couple of things came up during the last month we want to add. So they have caps on them and that's how I'd like to proceed going forward.
question? No. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 13.
Motion that the Board of Maine Merchants approve the following vendors to continue to provide goods and or services upon passage and through June 30th, 2027, and authorize Mayor Hess to execute all contracts and related documents as recommended by Controller Aline Pranacchia as the Fred.
Second motion.
All right, questions?
For vendors, just a reminder, are for purchases from 5,000 to 25,000.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Maine Merchants Group joining the Apollos Group, which is the National Cooperative Purchasing Association for fiscal year 2026-27, and authorize Mayor Hess to execute all contracts and related documents as recommended by Controller Eileen Pranacchia.
Second motion.
Arlene?
This relates to the JCI contracts. So this is the purchaser group that we need to be affiliated with for the contract
Okay,
in Johnson Controls Inc. So through,
right, well, we get better pricing because we're a member.
yes,
Right.
Is the Board of Ed involved with this also or not?
they're purchasing a little different.
So,
Well,
it's a joint up.
Well, I hope we can purchasing the same way for the whole town, but I understand.
Yeah, this is mostly for the items for the upgrades to the schools.
Yes.
Yeah. They-
But it can relate to if there's an opportunity for us for other purchases,
Oh, yeah,
we can take
so your
advantage of it.
sentiment is noted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Maine Merchants authorized Mayor Hess to execute all contracts and related documents with the purchase of 3 hydrant assist valves at $3,299 each, for a total amount of $9,897 from Fire Tech and Safety, 100 Business Park Drive, Kingsborough, Massachusetts, as recommended by Fire Chief Kenneth Hanks.
Second motion.
All right, Ken.
Okay, so these valves are the valves that we use, we connect up to a fire hydrant. We've had valves in service for 30 years. One of them failed catastrophically in April. I saw it happen, it was good. Popped up the hydrant with 30-pound hunk metal, hit one of my fire. Like, we took all of the valves out of service to get it deteriorated over age. Originally, this was put in as a capital project. But the situation we reduced is a critical item for us. We were able to secure a partial grant for Technical Water Company to buy one. We have one in service now. The other 3 are for the other 3 pumpers. The way this valve operates is that when we connect to a fire hydrant, with one of our trucks, we can lay out up to 1,200 feet of hose for supply. And we can start flowing water and start suppressing the fire. if we need to boost that pressure, we want up one of our hills, where it's just a large volume of water. This allows the second pumper to hook up and start pumping that hydrant without interrupting the flow of water. Without the valve, we've got to shut the hydrant down, drain that hose out, hook the truck up, hook it back up, and recharge the line. That's a significant time relief.
Thought you were gonna bring the valve with the
We did service right after the one. Then you're back. Bring it on your back. Service.
So, just to be clear, it's still in capital reserve.
Yes.
It's just that this year is different because it's not designated in capital reserve. It'll be paid from capital reserve, but it has to be approved since it wasn't approved by the joint boards. So we're approving it here.
I remember talking about this during the budget.
Sorry,
I remember talking about this during the budget.
I had
Yeah.
pictures of them.
Yeah.
So this will make it so you can put out fires quicker and do it in a way that keeps our personnel safe.
Yes.
This is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Good.
But if you're on New Haven Road, and you have something up on Candy,
Oh, we have done that. Yes.
I've seen you do that.
But it sounds like a lot of money, but when you look at the valve, it's in the detail.
Well, we got 30 years out of the last valve, so I think. It's pretty good. And one of the advantages of these valves, and this is why the Connecticut Water Company gave us a grant for these, the valves we had were quarter turn valves. When you do a quarter turn, on 1,000 gallons per minute on a 4-inch pipe, instead of what's called a water hammer back to the lines, it can damage plumbing at homes. The new valves, and the reason the water company gave us a grant is that it's crank off slow.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgess authorizes Mayor Hess to execute all contracts related documents for the purchase of overhaul and recalibration of a deposit check machine from Honeywell Analytics, 405 Barclay Boulevard, Lincolnshire, Illinois, in the amount of $6,395, as recommended by Fire Chief Ken Banks.
Is the city got to weigh up one of the responsibilities of our mechanic is taken on, but we do complete maintenance of our breathing apparatus. We're one of the few fire departments in the state that do that rather than contract out to a private vendor. Is a significant cost savings in labor and service charges. This device has to be sent out every 10 years to be recalibrated on factory. A new one costs about $30,000. So this they get recalibrated and we get another 10 years out of it.
Questions? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgess approve donating engine 6, 1997 fire engine to the Hill Fire Department of New Hampshire, Connecticut, as New Hampshire, Connecticut.
No.
Oh, New Hampshire, as recommended by Fire Chief Ken Banks.
Second motion.
So engine 6 was the, does say,
Yeah.
So engine number 6 is a 1997 pumper. It's been out of service for 2 years. We've had it listed for sale for a year and a half. We've had zero interest in it. We're selling old fire trucks. It's kind of unique. It's not old enough to be a classic. It's not a classic fire engine. It's 29 years old. For most fire departments, they're not going to want to use it with an old truck. Hill Fire Department was interesting. A friend of mine is the chief of Monroe up in New Hampshire. They had a major fire up in that area last week. They're probably so I called them. They did a nice job on it. And he happened to mention, this town, nearby town is Phil. They're desperately seeking a pumper. The town of 1,000 people. They do 150 fire calls a year. They don't have the tax base to buy pumper. They're desperate for it. We did have their chief or one of their mechanics did come down last week to look at it. We had full disclosure on all the issues with the truck. We've had the truck appraised by one of the repair shops at $10,000. It needs about $5,000 worth of work on. That's a corrosion. There is nothing on that truck that makes it unsafe to be on the road. It's a lot of cosmetic work, the fuel tanks got rusted on it, one of the plumbing connections of the vehicle. They're willing to take it as is for $1. And full disclosure, so there's no warranty for us, nothing for us to worry about. We have done this before. In 2000, we donated in 1977 over to a small town in Massachusetts. And they had several years of use out of it. Similar situation, small town, thousand people about that place this week. It was looking for the law for the improvement to donation.
But we don't have to maintain it or storage.
But right now we have it in storage, we have it insured, registered, we still have to maintain it, even though it isn't similar to having a vacant building. We still need to maintain it. costing us money to keep it at the event center. If we don't get rid of this truck somehow, at some point we need to take it out of the event center. It's going to be stored outside. It's going to get rid of infestations and the weather. It's going to become scrap metal.
Also, they came to me with this request, over a year ago. I told them to try harder to sell it, and they did. You couldn't sell it.
Right, one of the national, there's a company that does national use fire apparatus sales. You know, they get no lights on it.
Good, awesome. Perfect.
All right, any discussion on this?
You have to just amend this to remove Connecticut.
Yeah, we've already taken the town name off the truck.
Oh, no, in the motion, you want Connecticut.
That was either my time.
Even next, New Hampshire.
It says it later, so.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that Board of Maine Purchase waive the bid and authorize mayor has signed a 5-year contract renewal with Accent Enterprise Incorporated, 17800 North 85th Street, Scottsdale, Arizona, for body camera, tasers, and IT related services in the amount of $396,243.61 for the current fiscal year, with a total amount of $1,939,046.17 for 5 years, as recommended by Police Chief C. Colin McAllister.
Second.
All right, chief.
This is a renewal of our previous 5-year contract that we had with Axon. So where state mandated, we have to have our body cameras. We also have to have in-car cameras in all of our vehicles, results of Police Accountability Act. So I kind of say it, joke is they sell us something no one can say no to. Basically, Axon's kind of just a lone show when it comes to body cameras. Obviously, we upgrading our tasers as well. Model that we used about 5 years ago with the initial contract. Now outdated, and I'll be including an updated model of taser for this. It also includes some other services, including a VR training system too. The officers can put a headset on, do different types of simulations and training scenarios inside our building. So I think that's an enhancement to be effective, as well as some of the IT management systems that we have that we need to manage all this technology, data, cloud storage, etc. So again, it's broken out into a 5-year agreement. It brings us up to about 65 body cameras, and we also have some additional user licenses that we need from some of our professional staff or administrators on the system as well too. So it's kind of the only vendor in town at this point. State police just switched from Axon competitor, which is Motorola. Some of the other competitors that were out there also actually bought up by Axon. So they really are kind of a sole source almost in a lot of ways.
And this does include video storage?
Yes. Yes.
Which is quite expensive.
It is. They do the price point just enough. Jim and I have talked about it. With either maintaining their own servers or doing your own, but the cloud-based system with evidence.com is kind of international standard now. But what it is, it does help. It's also the digital management. It has acting features and stuff that we need to get FOI requests. So it does make it processing seamless.
And this is in your budget.
Correct.
This is in my budget for the first year, the $396,040.
So that's the number in the budget, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
That was already previously.
Can you double check that number?
It is accurate.
Yes.
Do they take the old stuff back, and is there any value to it?
They do. They take the old cameras back. It's an exchange. If there's a upgrade during the contract year, they do a refresh on it as well too. So if something were to come out. I believe in this. We do also have upgrades for our drones. I think there may be some credits built in as well for taking back some of our the ones that are Chinese manufactured. Those also, we can't use them after January 1st, 2027 because of the Chinese manufacturer. It's been legislated out. So Axon partners with the drone companies. So we're getting 2 additional drones out of here. Again, the technology interface allows the drones to be incorporated into the evidence.com and the pilot licenses and stuff. So it all kind of falls under one umbrella rather than before it was standalone. So
Is it a value to them at all, per se, to resell them to a much smaller company that they have like 4 officers? I don't know. I'm just.
It's basically the same technology as your phone. So it's almost very low end on the actual hardware. It's syncing them. It's the fact that they run off their proprietary system. So there were some companies of the older tasers that actually buy them back on the X26s, it's the first gen ones. Those ones, they really, they have to work with those tasers actually have to sync with the system now too. They pair and they have the user identification and everything. So they make it almost so you can't resell them to a 70 market. They really aren't standalone products.
And the DJI drones aren't banned, you can't import them after the first of the year.
Correct.
China's gonna spy on us with a drone.
Yeah. So the feds do like using our drones. We'll say that. But unfortunately, there's security concerns with them, so they have been legislated out, BGIs and Sky Video.
Cyclone mining at the airport, we've mapped them.
Yes. I might not. I know that the feds might. Just as a side note, we did explore the DFR program under this contract, this drone first responder program. I thought it was a little bit cost prohibitive, and I also don't think we're there yet. So the model that I would be looking at for renewal of this contract would be pre-positioned drones. They get a call for service, and they dispatch based upon the CAD information to that location. They have the officers and in dispatch. Some of our neighboring municipalities have gone to that. I just don't think we're there yet. It's an investment. I'd like to see how it rolls out as season comes along. But the actual IT platform that would allow us to seamlessly integrate that is here now. The pieces.
All right. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the board members to waive the bid and authorize Mayor Hess to execute all contracts related documents for police NVG night vision goggle and mounting equipment with Steel Industries Incorporated, 10-510 Portal Crossing, Bradenton, Florida, in an amount not to exceed $51,000, as recommended by Police Chief C. Colin Cowles. Second.
This was a requested item in our capital budget presentations. There will be a total of 7 NVGs as well as the mounting equipment. This will fit our officers who are assigned to the regional tactical team. So basically at this point, something that we technological enhancement. It's kind of standard. We've held off on any sort of purchases of this type of equipment for probably the last decade, waiting for it to become more industry standard. But it is essentially standard at this point. Not all the officers will be issued this. It's a small group that are trained on it. They have to drill with it. They have to do some advanced familiarization with it before they use it.
Yeah, and just so everyone understands, our SWAT team works in big cities, Waterbury, New Haven, Collins, Richmond, and they go into some very dicey situations with knives and they need this equipment to stay on par with the gangsters. Right. So again, this is normally would have come out of capital reserve, and it's coming out of the capital reserve, but because it wasn't approved, that the joint boards can be giving it everything. Okay? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorized the purchase of an ambulance from Nonotuck Ambulance Corps for a 5-year annual lease payment not to exceed $46,000 for first priority equipment finance, 211 High Point Drive, Victor, New York, as recommended by Controller Eileen A. Pranapia.
Second motion.
All right, Eileen,
Yes.
proceed.
See, the ambulance, has a $194,000, ambulance that they were purchased. And this was proposed for the, capital, and we never voted, like, the mayor just said.
Let me take a look.
Okay, thank you.
We were gonna lease an ambulance in the second half of the year. For one reason or another, the ambulance is here now. And the only way to make this work and not put a significant dent in our capital budget is to make the acquisition now go out and do a lease and get the money back and have a lease payment of 46,000 a year as opposed to paying the full price out of capital reserve. And we don't want to do that now for two reasons. Number one, we want to reserve the money for other uses. And number two, we would rather do it in the second half of the year when we know where we are. But in order to keep the price and make it work, this is the most effective way to get it done. And this is what you're recommending, Eileen?
Yes,
Did I state that correctly?
correct.
All right. You want to comment?
No, I would thank you. Is the lease in just the Nordic Ambulance Corporation name and or is it in the borough's name?
Good question. So we left that up to our insurance guy to figure out.
Okay.
So
And what did he say?
the lease is in our.
Sure.
The ownership of the vehicle will be in the ambulance's name. But both Attorney Fitzpatrick and our insurance agent reviewed it.
So let's just say that, let's have the final paperwork approved by Travelers and our attorney to make sure we get it right. Okay? All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of Board of Maine Burgess authorized Mayor Hess to enter into an agreement with Wayne Zaroli in an amount not to exceed $5,200 to establish the Mission 22 roadway as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
All right, Jim, I'll let you take this.
Okay, so as you hopefully know, the Mission 22 bridge going to the Park Department is being designed by the state of Connecticut and their consultants. We have a federal and state grant that's covering 100% of it. Obviously, we own the property with the armory and the bridge. The state and the federal government is requiring that we have a dedicated right of way for the bridge, not just we own the property. So this is to have Wayne Zaroli, who's our on-call surveyor now, create a dedicated right-of-way map that has the bridge on it only. And so I can supply that to the state and they can continue with their design.
Just take a photo and send it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Good. Someone, the bridge club.
I haven't got a final number, but it's millions of dollars. They're taking it completely down and replacing it.
This is grant.
This is 100%
They had to name
best.
the bridge in order to get the grant.
Yeah, make a road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Best thing ever.
well, the long and the short of it is they're paying it, it's gonna be a real bridge for the.
They're doing the
last forever,
design, they're doing everything.
But we have to survey it,
But we've got to give them a map.
and there's no way out, right?
No, I asked them if they would do it for us, and they said no. That's up to you.
Okay, for all that money,
Oh, and the money's gonna be coming out of the engineering consulting.
Right,
What do they do?
it's in the budget.
Do they come in with a brand new bridge on a flatbed? And
No, they're
They gotta do it right there on
They're gonna
site.
shut down the bridge, take it apart, put new foundations and parapets in, and then they'll bring in. Right now, the plan is to bring in precast panels that get dropped in and all bolted together.
On a temporary basis.
No, that'll be full
That'll
time.
be, that'll be.
That would be that.
That'll be it.
The access will be through the high school for that construction.
I got you.
I'm guessing they have to go through inland wetlands and. zoning
Yes,
and-
yep.
It'll be a-
And Army Corps.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
That'd be a 5-year project.
Yeah. it'll be a-
Things to work fine right now. All right, any further questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Maine Burgess authorized Mayor Hess to enter into an agreement with SLR International Corporation, 46 Glastonbury Boulevard, Glastonbury, for groundwater remediation assessment, 226 Rubber Avenue, in an amount not to exceed $71,750.
All right, so I'll just start off by saying that if you look at the following two items, they total 71, or basically the same amount of money within $100. So, this is money from COG that we received to pay for the finishing touches on the old recycling center, which is under contract to be sold to, Ferrari. Is gonna build a new place for them and for others. It's been kicking around for a long time, and, there was some, difficult to ascertain, E. coli that were located, that we have to take care of. So we're getting the money from COG to do that, and that we believe is the end of the remediation on that site. Is that correct, Jim?
I hope so. What's the time frame on the remediation for that site?
Like right now, right?
Yeah,
Next week.
I mean, yeah. First phase of Red Tech starting next week.
Okay.
This would follow that. Would include some additional test pits, some additional testing wells, and then some well testing and reporting.
So we're looking at a closing possibly September or October?
Yes.
Okay.
And start construction this year, correct? Yep.
That's what I understand.
So, cool. All right, any questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Maine Burgess authorized Mayor Hess to execute all contracts related documents for the NVCOG revolving loan fund sub-award agreement for the remediation of 226 Rubber Avenue in the amount of $30,000.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Maine Burgess authorized Mayor Hess to execute all contracts and related documents for the Naugatuck Valley COG fiscal year 24 EPA assessment award for environmental services at 226 Rubber Avenue in an amount not to exceed $41,982.
Second question.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so the next item is, interesting, especially I'll say for those Naugatuck residents who have been here, for a long, long time. But, apparently, there's a city in Italy, Milwaukee, where there is, I'm gonna pass this out, because I don't want to have to go over it. But there is an extremely large amount of well-known Naugatuck families that come from the city. And, I'll just send these around, but, just glancing at it, Aquivia, Angelillo, Lunetti, Palucci, Solello, San Angelo, Ericetti, Erico, Labriola, Lamparello, Mancini, Mariano, Palermo, Rado, Sabia, Salinardi, Scabone, Spadola, Suma, Briano, Zuccarelli. I mean, we know them all. So they're all from the same city in Italy. And the mayor of that city wrote me a letter in Italian, which we have translated. But in essence, they want to be a sister city with us. I don't know exactly what that entails, but I see no reason not to do it. But
Mayor for the day.
I don't, we can, I guess, turn it into anything we want. We did it a few years ago for the city in Portugal.
Yeah.
And now they came over here, we had a beautiful center and they get us, back or something, so it's, I mean, it's just a fun thing, but I can tell you this, that some of these families are very passionate about their city of Liberty. And, we love to see this happen.
All 3,500 people that live there.
I know.
Welcome.
Yeah.
As our Sydney.
I was-
Place to love to live.
Plus the ocean.
Yeah.
That's what I was
But
looking
no, we
at.
must recognize. it.
I recognize all these things. These are my fun work.
What do we say? Wonders and beyond.
No, there's one other thing there that, paper, you're gonna know.
What?
Can you guess?
No.
So, the world famous Nardello.
Oh, yes, I was gonna ask that, yeah,
So
so,
the Nardello peppers
correct,
came here from this town
yes.
and to Naugatuck, and
Yeah.
now they're national.
That's why we grow them. There's a pepper called the Jimmy Nardello pepper. The Nardello family brought the pepper seeds from Italy to Naugatuck.
So to live by bag.
Yes, they're sweet. They're long and red. And the seeds are hard to find. It's a unique seed, so we do grow them. But yes, sorry, Pete, I'm a little tired. I didn't catch that. Not related to it's not the Nardelli family, Nardello.
It's not that long.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not related to,
Nardello.
yep,
Yeah.
Jimmy
Jimmy
Nardello
Nardello.
pepper. You guys can get them on Sunday.
From Milwaukee.
That's why we grow them. It's a good story. We say that.
So it's sort of boxed out here, but you can see the
Yeah.
name Nardello.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion that I be authorized to take whatever action is necessary to become a sister city with Ruoti. Italy.
Can I be the Italian person?
Yes, you can.
Quando Bella.
You have a motion?
Motion.
Oh, second.
All right.
I'm
Any-
excited.
I know Julie's thinking about Italy. You went to Italy for a minute. I saw you.
Second on.
Any discussion?
Frozen line is the other side.
This isn't gonna train.
All those in favor?
Aye.
See.
And Rocky, their paper say San Rocco.
San Rocco. That little dog with the brain this back.
Sure.
Motion to board of Burgess authorized controller, Eileen Canapia, to refund the following tax refunds approved by tax collector James Coggin as a friend.
Second motion.
Questions,
I'm
discussions?
excited about Italy.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion. All right. Second, public comment. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? JK,
Negative.
all right, last call for public comment. All right, we go to Burgess comments. And we will start today with Ken Gallo on Zoom.
Okie dokie. I feel like we made some really important statements about the flood and what was the other thing that we talked about, Pete? What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, the data center. With accurate information as opposed to what we're seeing with the keyboard warriors on social media. We have a section for agendas, so anyone can read what was said at the meeting. But I think it might be good to enhance that with the more important topics that we talked about, like these two, with a short clip from the meeting that people could watch. Not everybody will read everything, but they will watch a clip and they would actually have the right information. And it would also be something that we could point them to when they put false information up there. Just a thought, that might be, Jim can tell us if that is a technical nightmare, but I think that the more information we get out there, the better off we're going to be.
No doubt, it's easier said than done, but I agree completely.
Well, is the meeting recorded so that?
What
The
is?
meeting is recorded and since COVID, we've been posting
all borough board meetings have been on YouTube within 24 to 36 hours of the recording. So every meeting is there. You can watch the entire meeting. You can go to the section of the clip if you want. That's there. I don't know that we really need to chop it up to be able to post it on social media, but we can post a link to the YouTube out there every month once it's completed. We have 19 followers, so maybe we'll have some more.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that that was there, so I pay kind of.
We have our own channel. Shouldn't out in between.
No, I pay pretty good attention, but obviously, it would be good if we had better ways of letting people know that these YouTube videos are available. I'd like to, I'm going to look for it, and that would be a great thing for us to link. When somebody puts something on Facebook that is false, that we could link to a meeting and say, look at the meeting after 5 minutes and 15 seconds and read that clip, rather than having to do the whole technological thing of chopping it up. If it's already on YouTube, I have no problem with that. But I do think that we have an awful lot of information that is coming out all the time, all the projects, all the wonderful things that we're doing, and more information. Information is power. And we have people that are very dedicated to putting very false information out.
I can send the Burgesses once the link has been created. I can share it with all of you and then you do with it what you need. That way you have it in your email, you can copy and paste it, post it. Instead of having to go look for it, it's right on my screen at the time of the upload, so I can easily send it to you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, good comment, Jim. By the way, you're feeling good?
I feel a heck of a lot better than I did in the hospital, let me tell you. Getting stronger every day.
All right, well, when are you gonna take up back to golf?
Friday,
Friday.
Okay.
we're playing in the,
Yeah, we're playing the football fundraiser tournament, and the nice thing about scrambles is if I start to get tired, I'll just, keep going in my little cart.
I'll hit for you, Dan, that'll be good.
Yeah,
Well, I'll see you then.
awesome.
All right, Caitlin. You want me to pass you over? I'll do the PC. I'll go to Charlotte.
Okay.
First comment, next time we come together, school would be in session, so please be aware that the buses are gonna be out there, kids are gonna be walking on our sidewalks again. And be aware of the school year beginning, always keep in your thoughts and prayers, the teachers, the students, the parents. It's always interesting time of year, a glorious time of year, and sometimes a very stressful time of year for a lot of families. But looking forward to a new year beginning. And I hate to say it, so is soda.
Yeah, why did you say that?
I don't imagine why. Can't imagine why.
That's a fast summer.
Yes, it was.
You're not kidding.
Took forever to get here. Mike,
I'd just like to say that I really enjoyed the splash pad dedication this afternoon. It was a good time, especially watching all the kids play in the water.
Yeah.
It was fun.
yeah. Thank you. Julie.
I think we went through all the senior center stuff, so that's mostly my report on. As far as the schools, the trades program is gonna be back in schools, and there's gonna be 2 classes also from the Veolia company that they're recently, so. And that's gonna be taught by Matt Burke, and I'm not sure who else.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I got it.
Yeah, that'd be great, so.
Is that gonna be two classes to seniors or junior and senior from now?
I'm not sure, I can't answer that completely, but.
I was so busy. Thinking, I was thinking about Italy for a minute. No, I'm happy that we passed the ordinance. It was exciting to work on that. I think it's gonna be a great thing for the town. The farmers market is doing incredible.
We're just getting a ton of compliments. There are literally hundreds of people coming every week. There are people lined up at 9 a.m. at all the booths. And I really think, Pete and I were talking about this, it really just completes what we're trying to do with downtown and with this whole area. There's a flow. People are walking to get coffee, right? They're taking a lap, they're coming to the market. So it feels like we've been putting in a lot of work over the last 3 years and it's finally paying off. So really happy for all the businesses and all the support. And I guess I will just say, to be courageous in my thought here, that I know I'm really glad that we talked about the data center. I do just want to say publicly that I do have a lot of concerns and that I feel okay, even if I'm the only one in the room saying that, I'll be courageous in stating that. And I just don't want us, outside of like the environmental and whatever, all that and the stipulations that you made are reasonable. We can't let convenience tempt us so much. Like, I get that AI is embedded in many parts of our lives now without us knowing, like in apps that we use or, processing bills, or I don't know, there's endless ways that it's probably incorporated, but artistry, creativity, all that stuff, we can't let it tempt us. Convenience can't be the death of us. So I just want to state that publicly, that I do have a lot of concerns about. Sorry, not to end on a downer note, but I do just want to speak my truth and put that out there. And so that's really important to me that that's noted and stated.
So you should probably stop there so you won't be disqualified from voting. Can you keep an open mind like always?
Of course, I think it's very important. That's why there's a lot of people. I had messages and phone calls and I had nothing to say because I said there's nothing to.
I understand, but none of us have made up our mind.
Correct. I'm saying I have concerns. I'm very open. I want to hear more. There's a lot to consider. I appreciated your points around what we're considering. I'm just expressing that, I have questions.
Well, I think everyone on this board has questions and that's our job as a town to evaluate all people. That's all.
I think it's important that people hear that because there's people make comments, they just rubber stamp whatever. And I am 100% agree with you. I have my reservations, but I have my reservations based on what my background bias. You haven't had to be put.
Correct.
So we have to be objective when it comes in and act in the interest of our constituents and what would be best as well. We wouldn't be the first group of people to hit a historical nexus point like this. It happened during the industrial age began. These things that are going to keep coming, and this is maybe the next level, maybe it is. But I agree 100%. We have to go with an open mind, but we also have to understand that we have to act in the best interest, not just of the budgetary needs of town, and to get things that are fast and shiny and happy and quick. And understand we've got to plan out how about 50 years from now? Everything we need to do has to be long-term. And the environment we live in, the environment we raise our kids in, I want to hear from people in their 20s and teenagers what they think of this, because they're the ones who are going to have to live with the results of the decisions you make. Glad you put it up in that.
Good. All right, Jose.
I wanted to hitch a ride with Mike over here about the splash pad opening today. I wanted to give all of that credit, much of that credit as deserved to our neighbor Gigi Ramos, who did a tremendous job raising funds and championing the splash pad. I understand that she couldn't be there with us today, but I'm really thankful that she did the work she did to get that project going.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Yeah, I kind of echo the same thing about the splash pad. It was Gigi's vision from the beginning, and we went to countless fundraisers and raising money to meet a grant eligibility process. So Gigi put a lot of heart and soul into it, and I shared the pictures I had with her from today, and so I'm hoping she's extremely pleased with how it came out. So I have to remind everyone, we have the music crawl this weekend. Come on down, 1 to 9:30, starts at the station, moves forward all the way to the green. And we'll have some food trucks and there's a passport that you get when you come. If you have it punched at the different locations, 4 punches or more, your name gets put into a drawing and you can win some interesting gift.
The senior center has the power shed too.
Yeah.
And fire
Show, yeah.
It's perfect.
And then, don't forget on the 21st is the dedication of the children's mural on Church Street. So, that should be kind of fun. And they've done a great job with that mural, so that's really good. And then on the 29th, if you haven't signed up yet, before the seats are full, the, bingo for the, Jane Doe No More fundraiser. So I thought I would bring that up. And that's fine.
Thank you. Bob?
The roof at the high school is moving along very good. The rain has held them back a hair, but we're assured that it will be complete on time because they have more than enough employees to bring in to handle any excess time that's going to be needed. But it's a serious crew up there. And there's a lot of stuff going on up there. If anybody's been up there, it's pretty insane. Imagine.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think we should, not so much for the roof, but for the HVAC projects, working with those crush, get our capital committee together? To what extent do they want to be involved? And that's very involved.
Yeah.
We have meetings every week.
It wouldn't hurt to have our capital committee get together just to talk about those future projects.
And Gary should.
Yeah, everybody, anybody that's on our committee, yes. Yeah.
Well, we should think about setting one up soon.
Yeah. And also, they had a meeting with Melissa, the assistant superintendent, Bobby Mezzo, and Castle Boots regarding the middle school project. And they talked about a lot of different things, and I think we're on the right path there. And moving forward,
the ed spec
with the ed specs and the design of the whole thing. Yeah. So that's a great thing. And we've got a lot of time, which is a good thing. So we're in the really early phases, but it's moving along really good so that we'll be able to get some numbers together before the end of the year, which will be a good thing. The other thing too is we have an ace here in Jeremy Lennon. We don't realize, but I'll tell you what, I'm a crazy guy that just drives around town with my neighbor at night, and we take pictures of all the stuff that's going on and the progression, and I put it on Facebook, and you get the good comments, you get the stupid comments, but it is what it is. And last night my neighbor and I happened to go down to Etna Street, and we just pulled in and walked over and see what's going on, take a picture, send it right off to my man Jeremy. He says, "Hey, I'm just at the site." And he calls me like 10 minutes later. He says, "Yeah, I was just there. I was just getting out of the shower." So I was bullshit with him for 15 minutes about what was going on over there. And so I already knew that what you were gonna say. So yeah, this guy, he's all right. He's a stud. He's a stud, and he's humble. But I'll tell you what, it's a good thing we got this guy here because we'd be in bad shape here.
Agreed.
But thank you.
Rocky?
Yeah, this afternoon I ran through the splash pad 3 times. It wasn't on at the time, but I ran through it. And it seemed like it was gonna be fun with water on. But I stopped down at National Line out for a little while. A lot of people, it was great. I had to leave quickly for this meeting. There was a ton of people coming in there. I hope they were cooking fast for 3 days. It was like walking upstream from the fish. There was so many people that were coming back. It was crazy. So thank you to the police department and the vendors that all contributed. tell you it was great, and I hope we could still keep doing it every year. I had asked the mayor about an ordinance with the upsurge of e-bikes. And somebody was hurt downtown by an e-bike not too long ago. And I felt we needed someone to back the police department up when there was gonna be issues. And he was kind enough to pass it along to the police chief, who agreed we did need something, and it's with borough attorney now. The only thing in the state is, there's a general statute 14-26 that addresses bicycles. And it doesn't even say bicycles can't be on a sidewalk. All it says is bicycles have to drive on the right side of the road, or right on the right side of the road. I mean, basically, that's it. So I think it's time for us to get something that we can use to be able to stop this. It's dangerous, it's crazy. I'm downtown every Friday night, and every now and then I have to step out of the way, or I'm sitting there and they come zipping by me on the sidewalk. So I'm hoping this will be another tool the police department could use. I mean, I would really like to see there's 3 different classifications of e-bikes, and the lowest one is the only one that young kids can use. I would really like to sort of say, identify the parents, give them a fine, confiscate the bike. I don't know if we can go that far, but we'll find out. But a lot of people are concerned with it, so we'll see where we're gonna go with this and how it ends up when the time comes. So that's about it.
Tell you I'm not gonna say the good thing. It's a terrible thing that happened, but the young man did stop and helped her up and to make sure she was okay. A lot of times these young kids will just do what they do and take off and not worry about, at least this young man had the courage to stop and help her up and see if she was okay. So you're right, about these things.
Sometimes something good comes up, it has to be addressed, it seems.
All right. We got everyone, right? So, we will take let's do item 29 and we'll take it to a break.
Motion to recess to executive session at 9 P.M. for discussion of the following: real estate parcels A, B, C, Y, and Z, Mountain Industrial Park, Section 3, pre-rail discussion, Energy Park Data Center, Hershey Property, 912 New Haven Road personnel, police, social, military, Hatfield, and pending litigation.
All those in favor?
Aye. See ya. We'll walk on water, will you? No.
What time?
10:02.
We gotta come down
Okay, you do 01, I'll do 02.
And I wanted.
You ready, Jim?
I am. Go ahead.
You already did it?
I did.
4, 3, 2, 1, 10:02.
All right, we convene the meeting at 10:02. And, coming out of the executive session, I will entertain a motion that I be authorized to enter into an employment agreement with Sherry Hatfield for a 3-year term as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? I'll just note that the agreement will become a public document upon signing. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Everyone, motion to adjourn at 10:03.
All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you for loving. Come on,